The following content is not suited for those under the age of 17. Viewer and listener discretion is advised. In other words, do not tell your parents. Death is an inevitable fate for us as the human race. However, it happens earlier for some people. While some causes of death are from external sources, a notable percentage of all deaths comes from internal thoughts that make us hurt and eventually kill ourselves. From kids to grown-ups alike, depression is an infectious condition that will wander around every corner that we know. It will strike in some of our happiest moments to even our most vulnerable. According to the Boston University School of Public Health, 32.8% of the entire United States of America population experience high levels of depression. This is a staggering percentage when you consider the percentage from before the current COVID-19 pandemic, which was 8.5%, increased to 27.8% in 2020, which is slightly more than triple the original percentage. And unfortunately, the depression rates do not show any signs of going down. In a way, we are experiencing a figurative pandemic within a literal pandemic, because depression is essentially a disease. It is carried off by one person, then a group of people, then the town, then the state. Its influences can be spread around contagiously, and unlike most other pandemics, there is no known cure to it. And even if there was a cure, there would be no consistent way to cure all victims, as every victim has a different story to tell. Not everyone has the same depression. It could stem from many different things, such as abuse, the death of a loved one, or even being subject to parents who would not stop arguing with each other. This brings me to a new and still developing story. A strange phenomenon has recently taken place where multiple depressed victims have gone missing from even inside their homes. Whenever the victim disappeared, they showed no sign of leaving their home. Only their electronic device remained turned on. The only thing I knew about this phenomenon was that depressed victims are sucked into their device as if it was some sort of vortex. I will never know what happened to everyone who was brought into their device. However, there was one survivor that I could find who was willing to interview. He strangely looked very similar to me, and even had the same name, but I thought that was just a coincidence. I asked him quite a few questions to get a glimpse into the mind of a survivor of this phenomenon that is associated with the disappearance of many depressed individuals, with his consent, of course. I'm Brandon Park, and this was my investigation of the missing victims who were taken away by their devices.
Okay. Let's get this over with for your sake.
Alright, start off now.
Sure. Now, I do have a fair warning for you, as these questions may get personal.
Well, my response to that warning is that I have nothing to hide, and therefore nothing to lose.
Alright, so, what happened to the missing individuals who were brought into the screens of their devices? Oh, that part is easy. Okay. They were brought into an alternate digital realm that is parallel to ours, forced to survive the insidious environments around them. Not all of them survived, though, which is the sad part. Dang. That does sound unfortunate. So most of the victims were left to die in the realm? Not left to die. They were killed. By who? The internet. The internet killed the victims? As much as I want to believe that, I can't bring myself to do that right now.
Well, it's true, and I'm a survivor of one of its attacks. What else can I tell you?
Can you tell me what the internet looked like?
I couldn't even tell you. It's too much for technology to handle, so I can't.
So, you can't say it here right now?
Well, I can. I can say the internet looks like, but if you saw... it just distorted the camera a little bit there.
Okay, I see. Alright then. Can you tell me what your life in the digital realm was like?
In one word, hell.
In multiple words, it was a series of chaos and destruction. I remember when I first fell into the digital realm, I was on top of what seemed like a hill, dyed in a hue of blood red. I looked around me and saw that there was a metal board on the ground. I turned it around to see if there was anything on it. There was a message that would shock anyone to the core. Welcome to the internet. Once you enter, the clock starts, and time is running out before the internet claims you. Every way you turn, you'd see some horrific images of things you would never want to see. I had to find my way around, using the resources around me to defend myself. But the more time I spent in the digital world, the more unstable I felt. Eventually I was caught by these people in neon green clothing. Except they were not people. And honestly, I still don't really know what they are. All I know is that I was arrested, for lack of a better term, and put into a chamber where they performed experiments on me. It wasn't just me though. I was one of many experiments. But I was also the only one who escaped. Before I left the building, I encountered another person. They seemed soft, insecure, and shy. I comforted them, saying that I'm not their enemy. We exchanged stories, realized that we were not so different, and became close friends. The internet latched onto me like a virus, though. And the next thing I saw when I woke up, they lay dead, lying on the ground. And it wasn't just in an ordinary way either. It's as if the murderer did it for sport. I decided that after that, enough was enough. And finding the exit was my main priority for the sake of my friend. I would survive for them. Wow. That is quite a lot to digest. You mentioned you had a friend in the digital world. Can you tell me more about them? Yes, it is they, them. You seem really cautious about their pronouns. Yeah, I am very cautious. I'm trying to respect them as best as I can. Well, that's nice of you. Anyways, they also came from a depressing background. They wanted to destroy their depression as much as they could. They went to a psychiatrist, tried relaxing in sunlight, and got a pet golden retriever. The depression settled in when they realized that the psychiatrist was a predator, the sunlight became stormy, and their golden retriever was diagnosed with lymphosarcoma. They came into the digital realm as a last resort, but in the end, the internet possessing me was the one that killed them. I'm sorry to hear about that. How do you think they feel about you now? I hope wherever they are, they're resting well. I hope they aren't mad at me. If they are, then it's a shame. stop here if you'd like. Alright, that's enough then. Cut the cameras!
This was the most I wanted to ask him about. After our interview and some time off the camera, I realized how gruesome the internet can be. I've always seen it as a credible source. Others see it differently. I realized this as I decided to do some further research on the matter and was shocked to find that the internet had a different appearance to what the survivor was telling me. He told me that it looked like a dragon with an emblem that looked like the symbol of Internet Explorer. The appearance of it on my end looked like a monochrome face with an unsettling smile. It is here where I found out that no one has a consistent view of what the internet looks like. It will never have an appearance that people could look at and say, that is the internet. However, what shocked me more was that the internet had its own website where it hosted information regarding the body count that it had amassed, almost as if it was bragging about its achievements. I found out that the internet has claimed over 54 million victims, half of the 32.8% of the entire US population. From the looks of it, it doesn't seem like it is going to stop there either. But just saying that the victims are all from the US would be inaccurate. After all, the internet is a universal source, so it is likely that the victims are from across the world. To add insult to injury, the victims can die, but can be revived to be temporarily brainwashed to serve under the internet's twisted desires. I'm assuming that these were the neon green humanoid creatures that the survivor was talking about. I can't say that I understand all of what the survivor was telling me, but it seemed like he went through a lot to become what he is now. I have a lot of respect for these people because they bravely challenged their depression, even if they were forced and it cost them their life. Will depression, or likewise the dark side of the internet, be destroyed? I can't say for sure. The optimistic side of me tells me there is a way, but we just have not found it yet. Unfortunately, the realist in me tells me that there is very likely no way that we could get rid of the cyanide that is the internet, as it is a lifestyle that we have to endure. I'm hoping that the survivor is doing okay. He seemed like he was in a lot of mental pain during our time together. After all, we are one and the same.
Walk through the divided and hope the world will define their whole evil insurgents. Alright, so let's get started. So, what happened to the missing... Did you hear that?
Yeah, I did.
Give me 1 second. I'm gonna go check that out. I'm gonna go check that. Ah! Crud!